Then a left turn and a left downwind. Cessna over the threshold, coming up on the white dot, at or beyond the white dot, left turn first available. I got a high wind coming up on about a half-mile final, clear to land at or beyond. Traffic on the left face, you're following a Cessna down low off your left. Square it up just a little bit, and then we're going to get you in. Start your descent, though. Start your descent on the base. Traffic on final, give me follow on base. Base traffic, start turning toward the numbers now. High wing coming up on quarter-mile final, take it all the way down to the green. Cessna taxiing on the green, expedite down to the next hard surface. Get me some speed, there you go, go fast. This is going to be good. I got traffic on a mile final, you're following traffic ahead and to your right. High wing coming up on the threshold, take it all the way down to the green dot.
5 Charlie Sierra, 2 mile final.
A mile final, turn north, and we're going to just make you, we're going to bring you back around. Jet traffic's coming up on about a mile and a half final, runway 9er clear to land.
Okay, all right, let's listen up, guys. If you're on final for runway 9, I want you to offset to the left. I got a jet that's landing on runway 9. The jet's cleared to land runway 9 if you can make it. If not, just continue straight ahead. It looks like you're going around for the jet. That's fine.
Oh, we had one right in front of us, sir.
Dragger. Let's see. What we got? A tricycle. Tricycle, put it down. Tricycle, put it down. Tail dragger. Down to the green dot, then a left turn. Short final here. You cleared land on 9 all the way to the white dot. Go down to the white dot. Find somebody to follow out here. Canard, just come to the runway, and I might have to just send you around. That'll be fine. And for the jet, you just want to stay in this pattern, or you want to go back out for an instrument approach?
Stay in a pattern, Charlie Sierra.
All right, just stay with me here for a minute. And my tail dragger, let's see, over the numbers, go down to the green. And Canard's going to have to go around. Canard, go around. And my high wing here over the runway, keep it airborne. You do not descend. You got a fast guy behind you. Do not descend. There you go. Keep it airborne. As soon as the guy behind you gets slowed down, I'm going to put you down. So keep it airborne. The one that just passed the white dot, make a left turn on the hard surface. All right, my high wing tail dragger, you can put it down now. And Charlie Sierra, let me get you about a mile off. Let's see, Charlie Sierra, I lost. There you are. Make a left-hand turn. I'll try to resequence you here on the downwinds. We'll see how it looks. Short final, you're clear to land runway 9 on the white dot. There you go. And the tricycle left on the hard surface and follow the flagman. Welcome. Thanks for being part of the show. And let's see, just find somebody to follow on the final. And as you get close to the runway, if it's not going to work, we're going to send you around and then try to resequence you. Now, who else got sent around that's not back on the downwind? The Canard?
Yeah, Canard.
All right, Canard, there's a Gulfstream up there that went around too. I just lost sight of him, but you're going to make kind of a left-hand turn and stay low. I think Charlie Sierra, what's your altitude?
3,200.
Okay, that'll be fine. Just maintain VFR. I don't know what else is up there above you. Probably most everybody's down here, so just make a left-hand turn. We'll try to get you back here.
Canard's got the jet in sight.
Okay, the RV, maybe an RV-10, whatever's here on final. Keep your speed up and go all the way down to the, aim for the green dot for me. Actually, keep your speed up. There's a guy behind you. Aim for the green dot, and I'm sure that's plenty of room for you to land on runway 9. You're clear to land on runway 9. Number 2, you're going to go down to the white dot. Follow the white dot. Actually, you know what? That's 1,500 feet. You're going to land at the white dot. The spacing looks adequate here. 2 guys on final. You're kind of tight there. Keep each other in sight, and you're going to aim for the white dot. If it's not going to work, we'll come up with a plan B. We might have to send you around. The second guy behind you out there in about a 2-mile final. Are you slow enough to be able to follow that guy in front of you? You need to go around. Well, I probably shouldn't ask that because I had about 5 guys answer me, so I should know better than that. After 35 years, you would think, right? All right, so let me see. The guy who's number 1, it's number 1. What kind of airplane is he? An RV type. All right, RV type. Keep it airborne for me. And I got a fast guy behind you. The number 2 guy over the trees there. Go ahead and put it down on the numbers. My first guy just coming up on the numbers at the over the grass at the numbers. I want you to keep
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's slightly spooky live stream. Not entirely sure how that happened. I've been spending the day rewiring the house with Cat5 cabling, so fingers crossed my internet should last the whole evening. But I'm going to move on quickly. And thanks, Sky Demon, for supporting the live stream. Thank you very much, Sky Demon. I realised I hadn't switched over to the screen I need to switch to, so I will talk slowly while I do that. Yes, thank you very much, Sky Demon. Very, very much appreciated. And here, without further ado, is your weekly Sky Demon tip.
Hi, I'm Hannah from Sky Demon, and this is today's top tip.
Once you've planned your route, you can create a briefing pack from the route menu. This can include all of these items, including your pilot log and en route charts, and your weather and NOTAM briefing. And you can toggle off any items that you don't want to include in the pack. As you can see, this generates one handy document with all of your route information and briefing. And you can even email yourself a copy if you need to keep it for your records or for printing.
For more information on using Sky Demon, take a look at our user guide, which you can access from our website.
Pilot logs have never been so good.
Are all the videos being like seconds early tonight? Because that one shouldn't have ended there either. That's a bit weird.
Is there a glitch with StreamYard? Maybe.
I think there might well be a glitch with StreamYard. That's a bit strange. So moving on to glitches, let's get Simon on. Let's see if we can bring Simon on. Move you there. There you go. Just have to.
And that's your weather for the weekend. Oh.
There you go. Well, Simon. And what happens when I bring that in then?
Oh,
see.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that. It's perfect. It was perfect.
Oh, it was.
That's not perfect.
That's big Simon.
Yeah.
That's Simon. And now we want.
Yay, big man.
There we go.
There you go.
That fantastic.
Right, so anyway, how are you doing, Simon?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you, guys. See you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can just barely see you up there behind my little counter.
I'm here somewhere. Do I have to wave down there at everybody? Is that the way it works?
Yeah.
Oh no, who broke it?
Oh, it's happened again.
Oh my god.
It's happened again.
I'm just trying something else out. This cabling is like magic, isn't it, so far? So you're doing okay then?
Yeah. All well. Pretty windy day here today, as across most of the country. I've not been down to the airfield today, but I did hear a few guys up and about flying. So obviously it was flying for the brave. Gusts of 30, 35 knots today. It was across many parts of the country, and like it's going to be tomorrow as well. So, have you, Ian? Have you got my little charts there? There.
How about that?
That's all right. That's a small chart, but a big Simon. Can we get a big chart and a little Simon or not? Or is that all?
Hang on a minute.
As Dan Smith says, I'm only here for the production values.
There you go. There you go, Dan. Just we're here to please.
There we are. Okay, right. So this is just highlighting how windy it's going to be tomorrow, particularly across western and northern areas. These are the predicted winds or the wind gusts in knots. So hopefully you can kind of make out some of those. But just to give you a guide, anything you see in red there is gusts above 50 knots. Anything in orange, gusts above 40 knots. Anything in yellow, gusts above 35 knots. So flying for the brave again, I think, through the course of Friday. But things do get better. It actually looks like being a good weekend. So this is the forecast then for Friday. We've got some fronts out towards the west. They're bringing some bits and pieces of the rain to the far northwest of Scotland, to the far north of Ireland. But otherwise, you see here, we've actually got a broad southwesterly flow, quite decent conditions. The cloud ceiling forecast here showing that there will be a fair amount of cloud, but the base is generally around 2,000 feet or above. A little bit of hill cloud potentially during the morning, but then that lifts and things do improve during the course of the day. Now, across central and southern England, that's where I think the winds are going to be lightest, probably looking at southwesterlies around about sort of 12 to 15, gusting 20, 25 knots. But they'll ease during the day. Further north and west, like I said, it does look like it's going to be pretty windy, but it should be a decent day overall. Now, Saturday's looking better. Yes, we've got a warm front that's passing northwards through Scotland may bring a little bit of drizzle across western parts of Scotland. But, excuse me, otherwise, it looks like being a decent day. I think some lighter wind, and we should find the cloud breaking as well. So actually, it looks like a decent sort of day. And then Sunday, again, southeasterly wind. That's coming in off the continent, bringing in dry air. So for flying, it looks pretty good. Bases of around 4,000 to 5,000 feet. Tops probably at about 8,000 feet. Visibility is going to be good. It looks like being a decent day. Make the most of it, though, because this kind of extended autumn weather that we've had, it feels like we're still sort of in September to some extent, doesn't it? I'm afraid that probably ends this week as we head into winter. Now, don't panic. I'm not talking snow, but I am thinking fog. Then it goes more unsettled with wind and rain and temperatures down at sort of 8-9 degrees. So this probably is the last weekend of what you would call almost like September-y type autumn flying. Make the most of it. Now, Weather School is completely full at the moment. Every one of my courses is full. When I announce them, they're filling up. So if you want to go on the waiting list to be told when the next course is going to be announced, if you go to weatherschool.co.uk, just click on the contact us form there, and then just fill in your details, send them off, and I'll make sure that you get on the list. And we'll let you know when the next course is announced. Have a fantastic flying weekend and enjoy it. It looks like being a good one. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, Simon. Have a good one.
See ya. Bye.
See if I can swap you with Sarah. Oh, look at that.
It's working.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
I know my place.
It's going to get worse, Simon. I'm going to click the remove button now. Have a good one. I just need to temporarily remove the poppy from Dave. There you go. Sarah's here. You're going to tell us all about the club, aren't you?
I am going to tell you about the club. So there is no better time to join the Flyer Club, actually. So we've got so many benefits. There is discount vouchers for members, and there's also a live stream extra that only members can access and exclusive content. So the biggest probably benefit is the landing vouchers, though, and they are incredibly popular. So we've got four or five landing vouchers every month. This month, for example, you could fly to Shoreham, Longside, Edsfield, Land's End, and they're all going to be for free. So if you weren't a member of the club, then they're going to cost you £56, which when you think about it, the annual membership only costs £52. So really, it's a no-brainer. So become a member in November. That's what we're pushing.
As Martin says, I used the Shoreham landing fee today. 80 knots on the way, 140 on the way back.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, sir. I think we're going to see you later when you're going to introduce tonight's guest, Catherine Maloney, who I can see is tucked up in the green room there. So we'll catch you later. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, that video worked all right.
That bit worked, didn't it? That bit worked. What have I forgotten then? It must be weather. It must be news time, I think.
Yes.
Have I forgotten anything? No.
No, we're good.
Dave.
Yep. So the top story tonight is about Wellsborn Airfield. We did briefly mention it last week, but now we've had a chance to look at the detail. This is the memorandum of understanding that's been signed between Stratford District Council and the owners of the Wellsborn Airfield site, basically the Littler family as they're known. And this memorandum of understanding was put in place a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, but it's now just been renewed. And there's also to say in the background, there is still the threat of compulsory purchase should the owners not stick by the memorandum. Anyway, but the detail of the memorandum is quite a lot in it, and a lot of things have to be kept going. So all the airfield functions and facilities continue to be fully available. And if these drop off for any reason, then the council will be on the back of the owners. And these things include things like retention of the airfield licence. So Wellsborn will remain a licensed airfield with all that comes with it. And the main runway, which is 1836, that will remain, and its taxiways. All the navigation aids and flight information service, fire crew, aircraft maintenance, fuel, parking, hangarage, provision of the flying club, and car parking, those sort of things. All the things that make an airfield work, they're all guaranteed for at least the next couple of years. During that time, the owners and a developer called Gladman have a chance to come up with whatever their plans are for mixed use of the site. I mean, it's already, if you look at the overhead picture of Wellsborn Airfield.
Hang on a second. I'll bring it up.
If you look at that, you can see that that's looking from the east, I think, looking sort of southwest, and you can see the foreground. There's quite a lot of building work that's already gone on in part of the airfield, but that's okay. That's what's known as mixed use, and that's what's advocated these days. You can see on the other side, on the western side of the main runway, there's that's the flying club area and the flying services. So that's pretty much how it has to stay, and there is limited room, what is called suitable development area, for the for any further development. So it's good news, I think. They're flying is safe there for at least the next couple of years, and if there's no agreement reached, the threat of compulsory purchase is still there in the background.
And good work by Stratford District Council there.
Yep. They're steadfast in their support for the airfield. Sorry. Carry on.
Sorry.
Okay.
I was going to say, it's been pointed out in the comments that the MOUs just for the next 2 years, which is true. And I mean, who knows what happens after that? But it could so easily have been closed already. Yeah. So at least there's a kind of stay of execution for a couple of years while some other stuff's worked out. And hopefully it will remain an airfield for a long, long time beyond that. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nick Allen says, is the Vulcan overshoot area to be retained?
I think that's in the MOU. The Vulcan overshoot area and the all-day breakfast in the cafe have to remain, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, Johnny is up next.
Yeah, so this is something by a company called Vickers, and it's not the one that we probably all think of when you say the word Vickers. This is a new two-seat amphibious aircraft called the Vickers Wave, and it's nearing the end of 12 years of development. It flew for the first time about 7 months ago on land, and it's just started its water testing. So they've just spent about 2 weeks testing it on the water, and they're doing lots of kind of maneuverability, buoyancy tests, high-speed taxiing, all of that kind of thing. And the first flight was back in March this year. And they're looking at, no official price has been released, but it's looking at around $200,000. Powered by a 915 IS, useful load of just under 300 kilos, with avionics by Dynon, and it looks very icon-y, doesn't it? I
guess there's only so many ways you can go with seaplane design, isn't there? So it's like, if we're going to put the engine up there and the people here, and have a certain hull shape, it's going to end up looking a bit, all these things end up looking a bit similar, but it's not easy. It's not easy to make a seaplane. Not easy.
No, I'll tell you what, if they manage to bring that to market for $200,000 with a 915 AS, I'll eat my water rudders.
Wow, you heard it here first. But I think you might be right.
I have to say, my water rudders are particularly small and tasty, made out of pastry, with a little bit of on top, but they are water rudders, and I will eat them. Right. Okay. So my story next. This week was the CA published the results of their airspace modernization consultation. Unfortunately, it's like, as you can see there, at least 89 pages long and massively complicated. We only just got it, and we haven't had a chance to go through it fully yet. And there is a little useful poster at the back. And who knows, we'll have a look at it and bring you some news properly next week. But in the meantime, head on over to the forum, go take a look. There's some conversation going on there with the level of cynicism and the critique that you would expect from a forum, really. In other news, breaking news tonight, though, a link to the CAA, they put out another one of their documents that basically spelt what is, I hope, the beginning of the end for RPS, regional pressure settings. So you will no longer, from January the 9th, MATS Part 1 has been amended, and from January the 9th, you'll no longer be given a regional pressure setting unless you specifically ask for it, which has got to be good news. And that's as a result of the fact that this pain in the backside pressure setting that dates back to the Wright brothers, or whenever it was, is responsible for a few vertical airspace busts, apparently.
It is. So, and who knows? Maybe we could go back to millibars instead of hectopascals.
Indeed. RIP RPS is what I say there. So, yeah. Ed.
Yes, some aeroplanes on TV news. A reminder that tonight at 9 p.m. on More 4, you can watch the second part of Warplane Workshop. It's a series which began last week with the restoration of a Spitfire, continues with the story of a Cessna bird dog restored to perfection by Shona Bowman and her partner Laurie Gregoire. Shona is well known as the chair of disabled flying charity Airability, and you'll see a bit of their work as Shona is featured instructing in the Grob 109B Able. That's the aircraft you'll recall is the result of Airability's work to refurbish and return Air Cadet Grobs to service after they faced a previously uncertain future. So so tonight's part, I think, is part 2, and I think there's 2 more to come after that. So.
Excellent, good. Dave, is it Ed? Ed, you got some free? No. So what am I talking about? The production values are through the roof today.
Dave.
Spitfires. It's about Spitfires. Dave.
Sticking to the warplane theme, Spitfires are going to be mass produced in the UK again. That was the headline. It's not really truly Spitfires. It's the Airfix kit is on its way back, and it's a very nice looking kit. It's 1/24 scale, so quite big, and it's going to, apparently Airfix have been making their kits overseas for various reasons, but they're going to make this one in the UK. It seems only right, they said. For various the head of brand at Airfix. Said for various business rationale, Airfix models been manufactured overseas, predominantly in China, India, and France, since the mid-90s. But however, when we decided to produce this new Supermarine Spitfire Mark 9C, it felt just right to move the production of a British Icon back here. So they're hoping to beat the total of Spitfires that were actually made during war in this country, 22,000. They're hoping to make more, and obviously it's coming up to Christmas, so we're all keeping our fingers crossed, I guess.
I'd like to think that the Airfix head of brand is a 9-year-old with glue on their fingers.
How much is it, Dave?
Yeah.
How much is it?
Yeah.
It's £94, I think, is how much is the list price.
Wow. Okay.
Right,
But how else would you get hands on a Spitfire for so little?
Yes,
you could buy the entire production. You could buy 22,000 of those for just over £2 million.
Yes,
wow.
Yes, you could. Yes,
or a real one.
Yeah.
Well, I think your real ones are a bit more than that these days, aren't they?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you might get entry level Spitfire, but 2.5, 3, you might. Yeah, we'll certainly get you something nice. I was looking at the ads today.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Did you win the Euro Millions the other day?
Yes,
Was that you?
it's me. Yeah.
Yes. Talking of money, then.
Talking of money, yeah, free money for flying news. So there are 5 bursaries of £1,500 being offered by the Light Aircraft Association to support young post-solo students to help them complete their PPL courses. It's the Armstrong Isaacs PPL bursary scheme. So it's open to student pilots under 30 years of age, and LAA pay the funds to your flying school. So the money is used for flight training or exams. You've got to be under 30 and have completed a minimum of 2 hours solo and gained medical and the ground qualifications to continue training. But to apply for it, all you have to do is go to the LAA website, download and complete a form, and make sure they've got it by the end of 31st of December 2022. But if you know someone who's learning to fly, then that is a good way to add £1,500 to their kitty for flying. So, and there's also some other free flying funds from the Honourable Company of Air Pilots. They're taking applications for their bursary scheme for the continued professional development of flight instructors. And that's funds for existing instructors who wish to gain additional instructing qualifications or revalidate or renew existing ratings. And again, I've got a link I'll stick in the comments for that. So if you know an instructor who wants to develop what they're doing, then tell them about that and make sure they apply.
That's a kind of slightly non-intuitive grant from HCAT there, isn't it? So if you're an instructor, you can, I suppose you can add you could add night or aerobatics or something for multi-engine.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So in some respects, it's increasing hopefully the pool of It's some kind of instruction diversity, isn't it? So
increasing the pool of instructors just before the airlines start to hire them all again, as they're getting increasingly needy for pilots at the moment. And then, sorry, just to recap, the LAA one, you needed to have 2 hours solo, under 2 hours solo,
and
have a medical.
2 hours solo, a medical, and have done the ground qualifications. They say, have a medical and ground qualification to continue your training. But I'm sure they're not going to go, have you done all the exams? If you're already 2 hours into solo and you've got your medical, it's probably unlikely that you're going to stop doing your exams, isn't it? So
you'd think.
But definitely worth doing that, because I've watched some of the students who got bursaries this year, and they've all gone on to finish their PPLs. So
that's cool. That's cool. Many years ago, we had a competition for a whole PPL, and we had huge entries. It was completely funded, a huge and we had loads and loads of entries, and we whittled it down and found a winner in the end. And disappointingly, the winner did about, I think it was 12 hours or something like that, and then just didn't turn up again.
Oh no!
I know. It's like, whatever. Very strange, very strange. Anyway, okay, so talking of PPLs and instructors and stuff like that, you would have noticed there is a consultation out at the moment by the Civil Aviation Authority on simplifying licensing. We all know it's a bit of a mess. We all know it's a nightmare. We all know it's more complicated than it should be. And so the Civil Aviation Authority have brought out a consultation to change it. I sat down and had a video interview with a chap called Lawrence Baxter, who's the acting head of policy at the CEA's General Aviation and RPAS unit, I think it's called now. And I recorded that and edited that into a video. The whole video is about 17, 18 minutes long. It's not the most scintillating subject in the world, as you can probably imagine. There was probably like 30 minutes that I tried to make interesting into 17. That was released at 5 o'clock today. And I have a little 1 minute, 30-second version of it here with a couple of more interesting things that went on. So have a quick look at this. And yes, I have had my haircut since then. Hello, I'm joined by Lawrence Baxter, who's the acting policy manager at the Civil Aviation Authority's GA unit, GA and RPAS unit, I believe it's called these days. Lawrence is looking after the simplification of licensing consultation, and the plan is we're going to talk to him, see if we can't simplify the simplification consultation. Lawrence, thank you for joining us.
Thank you too, and it's really a pleasure to join you today.
So I'm guessing the consultation is running to actually elicit responses. So let's see if we can't kind of just run through it, simplify it, and kind of encourage people to respond, really. In
a nutshell, we are looking to do a major sort out of GA pilot licensing. We've got this once in a generation opportunity to have a major sort out.
It almost feels like we don't trust instructors and examiners, and we kind of feel the need to put in place lots and lots of structures and hoops to make everybody jump through just for a little bit of peace of mind. But that's just a personal view.
That's a really good point. I thoroughly agree with you, Ian. That is, you've got to remember that a lot of the EASA Part FCL requirements are there for harmonization between 27 different member states.
When do you think the Civil Aviation Authority might issue its first new, shiny, super simplified ICAO PPL?
I would love to be able to say year after next, but Ian, there are so many moving parts to this.
Thank you very much, Lawrence, for your time.
Thank you indeed.
So there's like 17 minutes of that, and it goes on for quite a lot more with quite a lot more detail. So go check that out on our YouTube channel, which I believe is now YouTube.com/Flyer TV.
Skydriver says, with regard to the video, it's not scintillating, but the guy came across very positively, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm guessing Skydrill has watched more than just that little bit of it from having that comment. And it's interesting because it is broken down into three phases. There's kind of structural. I'll get back to that, Darren. I'll get back to the outbreaking comments. There's the structural part of it, which is relatively simple. Then there's the real meat of it, which is the second stage, which is what are they going to do about syllabuses? What are they going to do about ratings? How are they going to make it easy to go from effectively a sub-ICAO MPPL, if you like, microlight, all the way up to PPO and stuff like that. So there's a whole load of detail in that. And then the third phase, which is the rule-making phase, and I think for me, that's where the beauty of the simplification, if we get the simplification, stands a chance of being turned into rubbish again once the lawyers at the CA and DFT get hold of it and try and turn it into a language that where it becomes far more complicated. So, but fingers crossed. And as Lawrence said, actually, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And ever since I was in aviation, which is kind of back in a long time ago now, 1992 or something like that, I guess. The regulatory change has been constant, and it would be good to just go, okay, let's now take this opportunity to put everything right that hasn't been right before, which put everything right that we screwed up before, I think would be a better way of putting it. But it'll be really good. It's a good chance. We should make sure that we all have a read of it and send in our comments and keep an eye on it and keep pushing them in the right direction. And hopefully, Darren, it is an outbreak of common sense. But we'll see. The proof of the pudding and all that. Right. There you go. I think let's see if we can do this. So let's bring on. Not you, Dave. Sorry. There you go.
Hello.
Hello, Sarah. So, hello again, Sarah. I'm going to leave you to introduce Catherine, and then the plan will be. Hello, Catherine. Bottom right-hand corner. Let me get rid of the poppy for Ed. Oops. There you go. Go ahead with a quick introduction, and when you finish the introduction, we'll swap you and Catherine over.
Lovely, lovely. So yes, we've got the lovely Catherine Maloney. So she's 24 years old. She got her PPLH at just the age of 19, actually, really young. And she recently got her PPLA at 23. So yeah, dual rated, very talented pilot. She is the director at Transair, and she's also an ambassador for aviation. So we're really, really excited to have her on. She's a real leading lady in aviation at the moment. So welcome, Catherine.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Thanks for that introduction, Sarah. That was really nice. Thank you.
I think, I try to do justice. So yeah, thanks for coming on. It's really, really nice to have you.
No, thank you very much.
That's okay. I really want to start. I think we have to start. How did you get into aviation? Where did it all begin for you?
Yeah, so my journey into aviation wasn't, I would say, a normal one. Aviation has always been a part of my life. My dad has been a pilot and, was a display pilot. He's dual rated. So it was always in the background. However, I think because it had always been in my life, it was not something that I was particularly passionate about. Although very interested, it was not something that I had a great interest in, becoming a pilot or learning to fly. However, when I left school, I left school at 18 and went straight to work. And I went to work at the warehouse at Transair. So I was picking and packing for many months. And while I was there, my dad said, well, look, if you want to work here, if you want to be involved in the business, if you want to, get on the phone, start speaking to customers, you have to know something about aviation. So at that point, I got the opportunity to have a trial lesson. And to be honest, I picked helicopter just because I thought it looked like so much fun. Just had no intention of going any further. I just wanted to know one side of the aircraft from the other, and I'd always been intrigued. So it was in that trial lesson that I was looking at it suddenly from fresh eyes of having the controls for the first time, and I absolutely loved it. And it was the best thing ever. And it kind of went from there, really. But it all started just from that trial lesson, even though aviation had been in my life a long time.
That's amazing. I love the fact that your dad was like, right, if you want to do this, you need to know something. So off you go, off you trot.
It's essential. At Transair, our passion is general aviation. It's what we do. So yeah, you've got to know about it.
So when you sort of started, did you really throw yourself into it? And you're trained. Did it happen quite quickly then, or?
It did happen quite quickly. I came back from trial lesson and I was like, right, I need to have this in my life. This is something that I need to do. So it was also the first time walking around Transair shop and thinking, right, what is all this stuff? How do I use it? What am I going to do next? And it did go from there. And it was just great. I was very lucky that I was working on Shoreham Airport and also flying at advanced helicopters at Shoreham Airport as well. So I was always on the airfield, which of course is incredibly helpful with consistency and things like that. But go on.
That's really cool. And then I was going to say, you know, after you had that lesson, obviously you probably were flying with your dad, and did it all sort of make more sense? And did you enjoy it all more and sort of absorb it and take it all in?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been flying with my dad previously, but only as passenger. You know, obviously I want to experience what his love is as well. So, you know, in that way, but then it was much more of a, right, let's have a go. Let's explain what we're doing here. And that was incredibly helpful. I mean, I think any time in the air when you're learning is incredibly helpful. Just watching what people are doing, seeing how they're reacting to situations is great. So I was very lucky to have that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a really well-rounded experience then, doesn't it? And then what sort of made you go into fixed wing? Where did that come from?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually had no intention. After I got my helicopter license, I was incredibly happy. I absolutely love flying helicopter, and I had no intention to go on to fixed wing. However, as it went on, I became more and more curious, especially with the variety that is open to you with fixed wing. So helicopter is incredible. But it doesn't have the same kind of easy variety that fixed wing does in terms of aerobatics, tail wheel, night rating, things like that. So those are things that I really wanted to experience, and you know, I was lucky to have the opportunity to backseat in some occasions, and it just really sparked my interest. Similarly, then I put myself in for a trial lesson at FPT at Shoreham, and thought, look, I'll give it a go. You know, you've got to try it. So I did. And again, I thought this could be a really great new challenge. I mean, learning and all the incredible experiences you can have flying are some of the best parts. So yeah, it was amazing learning, and taught me so much learning fixed wing. I had so much of a greater appreciation for the aviating around me, and also just for aspects of flying that I hadn't thought of previously. So that was a great opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think to go from a helicopter, doing a helicopter first and then fixed wing, that's quite a jump. I mean, if I was ever going to choose, and obviously I did mine the other way around, but I just think learning everything whilst you're in a helicopter, it's so hands-on, it's very difficult. So, you know, you must have found it not relaxing, but there is less to do, isn't there?
It was a very interesting one, and like I said, I did come from it from a slightly different way. I think I did it by far the easier way around. So credit to you, Sarah, because I definitely did it the easy way around. Because I think helicopter is I think it's much easier to teach if you have no previous flying experience. I did do a little post on this actually yesterday. But helicopter, there's a lot of things you have to do in it that are very unnatural to an established fixed wing pilot. You know, for example, flaring when you have if you have an auto engine failure, and things like that, that would be incredibly unnatural. And I had the reverse going into fixed wing. So I didn't want to put the nose down when we were doing stalling initially. It took me quite a long time to be comfortable to actually have that motion forward. Similarly, the circuit, helicopter is a lot more fluid in terms of joining and things like that. And you're always going into wind. So that was a real challenge for me, and to get my head around that. But again, you know, when I was flying helicopter, I'm not ashamed to say that I really didn't know much about the fixed wing circuit or where it was. So really fixed wing has greatly improved my airmanship, and you know, given me such an appreciation for what's going on around me, which is incredibly important when you're flying. But yeah, I mean, it's all challenging, but that's the fun of it, isn't it? All the new different challenges you can do.
Absolutely, it is. I mean, yeah, I think it's amazing. I'm going to read your article later, actually, about the transition between them. And I know you did something before for Flyer about it. The next thing I really want to ask you about is your role as ambassador for aviation. So for those of you who don't know, would you mind explaining roughly what it is and how you came to be an ambassador for aviation?
Yeah, so the ambassador role is absolutely fascinating, and you know, I've been very lucky to have that opportunity, and it's allowed me to do many things that have been absolutely fantastic. So you know, for example, being involved in different initiatives to do with general aviation, which I've really appreciated. So I was actually recommended for the role by someone in British women's gliding. And she said, would you be interested in applying for this? And I was like, absolutely, you know, anything I can do to help in the industry, I would love to. So I was shortly contacted by someone at the DfT with a form with a bunch of questions on, to fill out a bunch of essay questions to do with what could I bring to the role, what was my background in the industry, how long had I been working in the industry. and I submitted it, and then about 2 months later got a reply saying I've been accepted. And basically the ambassador role is a group of people who our aim is to inspire and encourage a new generation of aviators and to work to improve diversity, inclusivity and accessibility in the industry. So that's our role and that's what we aim to do. And the ambassadors we have currently, they are amazing, really amazing people that have done such great work throughout the industry. So it's been a real pleasure to work alongside them and to get to know them a little bit.
That's amazing. And what opportunities have you had to sort of get together with the other ambassadors? Has there been any group events or?
There's been a few. I think there was a little bit of a kind of a hangover from COVID in a way that a lot of things were kind of disrupted at first. However, we do talk regularly. We're involved in a lot of initiatives. For example, the Air League. I'm a part of a program called Soaring for Success, where we actually do a talk to young people about our particular industry and things like that. So I've been a part of that with the ambassadors. We do live Instagram streams, like I've done a few with STEMETS, which is a really great organisation to get young women into aviation. So we work fairly independently, but we do come together to discuss issues and to work on things with companies and organisations like the Air League. But yeah, they are pretty cool.
That's really cool. Very exciting to be part of that initiative. And yeah, I'm just wondering if anyone else, I think Ed, I'm not sure if you had a question that you wanted to give to Catherine or.
Obviously with the ambassador role, is looking at getting more people into flying, and obviously younger people, it's always a challenge, isn't it? How do you think we should try and make flying more accessible to the younger people? I say younger people, you're one of those young people, but how do we do that?
I think a lot of it is about piquing younger people's interest in the industry first of all, which is social media, where social media comes in. So I do quite a lot of work on social media. It's a huge platform, and it's where the young people are essentially, and it's also a mainstream platform too. So by posting content on there, I hope to pique some people's interest and engage their curiosity about flying, what it is to fly, and particularly general aviation. I think a lot of young people, when they think of aviation, they think commercial pilot, as I did as well when I was younger. So I want to try and portray the image that you can just fly for fun, and you can just be involved because it's a great thing for you to do personally, and there's so many opportunities you can do, and so many aviation careers that actually come from general aviation as well. So I think that's really helpful. And then obviously with that platform, you can promote other ways to get into flying. For example, I went flying recently with Flight Sport Aviation in a microlight. I was planning to get checked out last week, but the weather was too bad. So hopefully I'll be doing that soon. But my goal is to really try and push out these different ways to fly, like gliding, like, light aviation, that are absolutely incredible, so much fun, and would be amazing for young people to get involved in on a more mainstream platform that they're on. And I think that's really important. Some of my videos do get quite a few views, like in the millions of views. Those people are not people that fly already. They're people that just have an interest. And that's what I want to do, is pique young people's interest to engage with aviation, see how they can get involved, and try and, put out content there that they can see how they can get involved, what ways are affordable, what all the kind of variety you get in aviation, and just pique people's interest, really.
Yeah.
So someone earlier asked if you were going to try gliding. Unless I'm mistaken, you've done a fair bit of gliding, haven't you?
I have, yes. I have got involved. Again, I wanted to use that platform to show people the variety in aviation, but also a really cost-effective and sustainable way to fly. So I've been gliding a little bit at Parham. Unfortunately, it was more towards the end of the summer, so I didn't get too much in. But I'm hoping to go back early next year, and I would really love to go solo in a glider as well. But also, I think it's an incredible thing to help your aviating skills. I mean, what could be better, really, to help your natural airmanship than that?
Also, your PFLs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I've got a quick one about the DFT and your kind of interaction with them. Is there any formal way that they will listen to what you've got to say and actually try and implement some actions based on it?
Yes, that's a really interesting one. I went about it a slightly different way, where I requested a meeting with the Minister of Aviation earlier this year because I wanted to discuss ways we could remove barriers into aviation. And I had quite a few different ideas at how that could be achieved. So I went up to London in September, I believe, early September, and had that meeting. And then from that, I was put in contact with the team that are actually dealing with the aviation consultation, specifically to do with licensing. So they have then put me in touch with the CAA team to help promote the consultation and give them a bit of my point of view as well. So although perhaps it's not direct contact with them listening to us, they will put you in contact with the people that can help in the area that you're interested in, or the people that will listen to you or your point of view. And I think that's really important. I think it would be great perhaps in the future to get the ambassadors in a room together more and discuss more things as a group, because I think there's some really, really cool ideas there. And I think only good things can come from us all discussing this. But the DfT are very good at putting you in touch with the right people if you have an issue you would like to discuss and go further with it.
Excellent.
That's been very useful.
So one DfT question from me. The ambassador, are you an ambassador for a fixed period of time? And if so, how long is that and how long does that last? When are you no longer an ambassador?
So actually it's coming up to an end. So we are only ambassadors till the end of the year, and then they are picking new ones, I believe. However, there's not been too much information on this. But yes, it's a 12-month role. However, I do hope that I can continue working towards removing barriers in aviation in other ways, even if I'm not an ambassador next year. As I believe they want to get new people in every time. But yeah, that is the role. And there's some really great people out there in aviation at the moment, general aviation, young people. That would be really awesome to get them involved.
So I'm guessing you've been gliding, you've done fixed wing, rotary, some microlight flying. What's your favourite?
What's my favourite?
If you had to choose, one of those questions like, if you could only drink beer or wine for the rest of your life, which would it be? If you could only fly one type of aircraft, I should say, which would it be? It
would have to be fixed wing.
Wow.
I do love helicopter. It's immensely fun, immensely challenging. But fixed wing, the variety of it, you really can't beat. I mean, the amount of things you can do: tailwheel, aerobatics, night flying. There's just so much you can do with it, and I think that's really, really exciting. So if I could only do one for the rest of my life, I think I'd probably pick the one with the most variety, which fixed wing absolutely has in spades.
Absolutely. I love that. I know what you mean. The add-ons are sort of endless, really. So what sort of thing are you going to go into next with fixed wing? What's your next project?
It's tailwheel. That's my next thing that I would love to do. Again, it's so challenging, fun. Would love to get involved, give it a go. Yeah, absolutely. That's the next thing. At the moment, I'm really focusing on just building my fixed wing hours. I'm very low time fixed wing, so just trying to get as much experience as possible and learn as much as possible. But yes, that will hopefully be my next challenge.
Yeah.
What are you going to learn?
Sorry, go ahead, Ed.
What are you learning tailwheel on, or what will you be?
Hopefully a cub.
Excellent.
Wow,
yes.
Go for the best.
Yeah, I know that was a point of discussion. But...
It's got a soft spot for cubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few people, Peter Griswold and Darren Lewington, made the same comment, which is about consistency in the ambassador scheme. So if the DfT are watching, maybe don't get rid of everybody and replace them. Keep a bit of...
It seems to make sense to me that if we've got really good ambassadors, particularly if you've got a big following and you're doing the work you're doing, actually, we should keep people like you on. So
I would absolutely love to continue. I would absolutely love to. I think it's been an incredible opportunity, and there is a lot more that we could do. I know that, my point of view, this is just my personal opinion, is that it either should be a role that's a 3 to 5 year tenure, or we should maintain the ambassadors and maybe add 1 to 2 each year. That's my personal opinion, because like you said, we've got some amazing people at the moment, like Mandy Hickson. When are you not going to want her as an ambassador? She's an incredible person and such an inspiration. And there are so many other people, like that on the team. Why would you not want to keep those people and their perspective as well? Because we all have such varied points of view, which I think is really important as well. We all come from such different backgrounds in aviation. Well, I'm just general aviation, but obviously Mandy is military. We have Susie, who's very much commercial, and they're all incredible people. And I hope that I know that they'll continue to do the good work regardless, but obviously we'd all love to continue.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, we are getting towards the end of time. I think we have time. Is there any more? I'm not on the comments page because I need to be on a different page at the moment in my little thing. Are there any more comments?
Darren adds in the comment that big players, Boeing, Rolls and Airbus, should put money into a shareable pot. This is to enable the continuity and kind of extension of things like the ambassador program. So, and I think that's right. And Mike Roberts says, agree. Is a year really enough for people like Catherine to push the change they think is needed? So.
Yeah. There's a good argument to make it at least a couple of years, isn't it? Really. I would have thought.
Meanwhile, Tom Watson has another agenda. He says you need to buy a Cub, Catherine.
So I saw a comment earlier before I left. I think it was from Will, who was saying, "No, but why don't you buy a Super Decathlon?" I have to say, I would if it was down to me. There you go. Buy a Super Decathlon. Buy a Super Decathlon every time. So much better than the Cub. Everyone loves the Cub.
As lovely as Watson's Cub is, a Super Decathlon would be lovely.
Super Decathlon is just a fantastic. I mean, you've got aerobatics, you're gonna got a bit of touring, you've got good tail wheel stuff. I have to say, I had some amazing time flying a Super Decathlon around the US quite often. Did a couple of trips from Maine with Adrian Norris, who may or may not be here, from Maine to Oshkosh a couple of times in the Super Decathlon, and it's just a brilliant airplane. Does everything. It's not quite as good as a Cessna 182, but there you go. It's a different.
I'm
not ranting. I'm just saying. Super Decathlon.
Yeah. The question is, Catherine, if you could have anything in your fancy hangar, what would you have?
Oh, okay. I think I'm going to have to pick a helicopter purely because I've more experience flying different varieties. Fixed wing, I've only flown maybe like 2 types. But in my fancy hangar, if there was no object of anything, it would be an MD 500E helicopter.
Oh, nice one.
Good choice. Yeah.
Purely because it's fun. But
unless you're sitting in the back, then it's not quite so much fun.
Very true. But yeah, the front's fun.
Who wants to sit in the back of a helicopter, eh?
No.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very, very much for that.
No, thank you.
Good luck with even more ambassador stuff. Keep it all going. Keep encouraging people. We all need, basically the whole of aviation needs more pilots. Whatever part of aviation you're involved in, we need more pilots.
Absolutely. And it all starts with GA, with the grassroots of the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go make that work. Thank you very much. I think it's time for us to move on to Fantasy Hangar. Have a good one.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And that works as well.
There's one comment that I missed putting on screen, and if I can only find it, Aviator Steve said, "Why can't they have more than one ambassador?" There's a whole range of ambassadors, Steve. I think what the key thing is when you've got good ambassadors, surely they should stay around for more than a year.
Yeah, I think there's 12, aren't there?
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah,
there are 12.
Yeah,
I didn't realise there was 12.
Yeah, Aaron says, great interview, excellent interview. Yeah, I think we can. Great Instagram, Catherine. Keep up showing your passion for aviation and mostly women in aviation. So, I think we can say she's doing a great job there, isn't she? So
I can see in the little green rooms there, Catherine and Sarah are picking up their mobiles. I don't know whether
I think there's
or chatting between them or
those young people. Whereas if it was us, we'd be picking up some string and some tins.
Right. That's Fantasy Hangar. What's it all about?
fancy hangar. So this week, because the Vickers Wave is in the news, the newest amphibian on the block, that got us thinking, what amphibious aircraft would we like in our fancy hangar? And because Dave sometimes falls foul of the rules, and he asked for an early rule clarification request. So these are aeroplanes with a seaplane stepped hull and also have retractable gear, so they can operate on land if there's no water around. So that's my anorak bit over. So who's first?
I think it's Johnny first.
Oh,
Johnny.
Right. So I've gone for something that I can't really pronounce. It's called the. I should get Dave to do this. It's the Ellison Mahon Guiduk or Gueduk.
It's the Guiduk.
Guiduk. And there it
Yes.
is. That's perhaps not the best angle of it. I did upload another image actually, which I'll show in a second. But it effectively sits in between a Grumman Widgeon and a Grumman Goose. So it's a bit lighter than a Widgeon, a bit heavier than a Widgeon, a bit lighter than a Goose. It's effectively supposed to be a modern version of that style of aeroplane. So with good useful load, it's rough water capable. It can taxi up onto the beach. It's got good water handling. It's got low spray props and engines. It's got naturally aspirated, D-rated IO 540s, which is supposedly, basically producing a bit less power to give you a bit less spray throwing around everywhere. And also really, apparently it's got really good engine out performance.
And I think it might also be a kit.
I didn't know that, Ed, but thank you for adding that to my my information.
It might have started off with the intention of being a kit, but and the good thing about a seaplane, it's all plastic.
Yeah. And the marketing, they kind of sell it to you as accessing your home on the water. Use it as your air sea camper. Tender passengers to your cruise yacht.
Hold on, they obviously haven't done a profile on me.
Johnny, were you trying to justify lack of power from the engines as being a good thing because it causes less?
The marketing brochure is.
Yeah, our engines have little power. They don't bother the air or the water. I say. I'm going to go next on that low power basis. I'm going to go for this monster. Look at that.
That's a lot of power.
That is a lot of power. And do you know why? Do you know why you should have this? This is why you should have this.
Okay. There's no arguing with that, really, is there? And you get to do it twice.
You get to do it twice. Grumman Goose. This was actually going to go back into production. There was a company that kind of set up to put it back into production. Can't remember their name now, but they got kind of full approvals and production certificates and everything. Oh, Darren, what is wrong with you? Oh,
I think
no. It's not vulgar. It's just, I saw one of these in the flesh at Sporties once in Ohio, and it was all white. It was absolutely gorgeous looking, and they'd landed because they'd been somewhere super hot and had some plastic headsets on some seats, and the headsets had kind of melted into the seats, so they dropped in to buy some new headsets and presumably some new seats at some point as well.
Yeah, I've got to say, Skycrow has pointed something out here which I can now no longer unsee, and
I disagree. I think they look quite good.
I do too.
I'm struggling now with the upside down scoop thing. So,
well, I think, I mean, who wouldn't want one of those? Can you imagine that? Like, just.
That's true. Keir Williams says there was someone camping in the back of one at Oshkosh. Yeah,
that's almost big enough to be a fantasy hangar, isn't it? Really,
it is. Yeah, you can put another airplane in it. Yeah,
that's my choice, and I fear that we are probably now edging into the competition for winning this week. Actually, after a couple of strong weeks from Dave.
Yes, yeah, Dave. The new T-shirt, which could be Dave wins.
Dave wins. Dave, we're going to go for you next.
Really? So, okay. You think I'm going to win again? Right.
Well, you've got a good chance.
Got a chance. Okay. So I've gone for a Russian aeroplane. It's a Russian aeroplane called the Beriev. Beriev is a company famous in Russia for all sorts of seaplanes. But about 20 years ago, they produced this, the 103, which is a true amphibian. It's got a proper boat-shaped hull, can land on land, land on water, and it's actually certified in the States. Look at this; it looks great, doesn't it? It looks fantastic the way it lands on water like that. And anyway, it's IFR certified. It's IFR equipped, commercially registered. It's certified in the States. They've got certification over there in 2003. It does cost $2.5 million, brand new.
What? How much?
Well,
you can buy a bloody turbine. You can buy my airplane for $2 million.
Yes. Well, yeah. Anyway, this is an advanced aeroplane. It says it's an advanced aeroplane with a blended wing.
It's got an advanced price.
And, yeah. And it's built from aluminium lithium alloy with titanium used in high stress areas. That's where the 2.5 million goes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've never heard of aluminium lithium alloy. So
no.
And hold on, I thought, if I remember my school science days, didn't the science teacher get the piece of lithium and stick it in the water and it fizzed around and blew up?
That's sodium.
Are you sure about that, Dave?
Yeah, I'm sure about that because I did it several times.
Yeah, Peter Griswold has a good point. How about spare parts from Russia?
Well, that is a very good point, and possibly it's not the right time to have those. But no, there was a dealer in the States who set up to import them from Russia. I guess he's not having much success at the moment. But
yeah, it's not your night, Dave, because Mikey's Wings Across the Sky says Russian planes are disqualified.
Oh right.
I think. Ed, do you remember a trip into Florida? And we went to an airport. I can't remember the name of the airport.
You went to Sebastian.
Maybe it's Sebastian.
We went to Sebastian in Florida to meet a lithium. I mean, this sounds like some kind of. It sounds like the script for an arms dealing film from Hollywood. But we went to Sebastian to meet Ukrainian who was developing a GA aeroplane that you could swap the wings on. It was either aerobatic with it had a zero incidence aerobatic wing or a regular training wing with some dihedral. And I'd found out about this thing, and in the kind of crazy way that I did, I emailed them and said, "Hey, can we come and have a look at this?" And they clearly went, "Who is this person?" But it's like, why are they interested? And Ian and I found ourselves there, and Ian went flying with the crazy Ukrainian. But in the back of the Ukrainian's hangar, there were, apart from a giant, it was like this giant CNC mill, wasn't it, for milling boat hulls from foam, which is like something that should be in a Bond villain thing. One of these was in there, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
And he also had that was that Kit Jet Viper thing or something.
Yeah, he'd bought the Javelin jet. Yes. Right. Which we're just kind of looking round. It's like every time you turn a corner, it's like well, I wasn't expecting that. And up in the rafters there was this jet. So he's like, oh yeah, no, that's next project.
I think he made his money. Yeah, I think he made his money from selling Ukrainian armaments to the American government.
That would be speculative of us to say that, maybe.
No, I don't know. Last I heard, he was in prison. But anyway, yeah, it was a fascinating visit.
It was. The aeroplane. I suspect the aeroplane is around somewhere, isn't it? So
probably. There's probably a lot of dust in there. Anyway, should we get to your airplane?
Yes. Quite a quick science lesson. Lithium, sodium, potassium all react with water by fizzing. Is all I have to say on that matter.
Well, look, there's quite a lot of fizzing going on there.
There is, yeah. Luckily, they put two motors on it to draw attention from away from the fact that the thing is corroding in front of your eyes.
You think that's moving? It's not moving. It's just corroding.
It's just dissolving.
Dissolving in front of you. Anyway, Ed, what have you got?
Anyway, well, my aeroplane is definitely not going to dissolve in seawater, and there's a reason for this. And so I picked this. This is the magnificently elegant Fleet Wings Seabird. It was an amphibious utility aircraft designed in 1934 to 35 by James C. Reddig for Fleet Wings Incorporated, who were based in Bristol, Pennsylvania. It was highly unusual at the time because it was constructed of spot-welded stainless steel. A high wing wire brace monoplane with 285 horsepower Jacobs 7-cylinder radial in a beautiful nacelle above the cabin. The pilot and 3 passengers sat in a fully enclosed cabin, and you entered via a hatch in the rooftop. There was a bit of a problem though. So Fleetwings initially planned to manufacture 50 of them, and they priced it at $25,000. Now, unfortunately, at the time, $25,000 was nearly £500,000, and this was in the middle of the Great Depression. And unsurprisingly, there was no market. So Sea-Wings ended up building just 1 prototype and 5 production examples, and just the prototype exists today. So, but this is gorgeous, and I feel this is totally worthy of a corner of a fancy hangar, because that is just beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. What's in the comments then? Who's won?
Yeah, I think we need to let Ed go through the comments and tell people why their choices are incorrect because they're not amphibians. But first of all, Paul Fraser Benison suggests the Sea King. Now, would that technically count?
That technically does count, because you can land it in the water and it has gear. I don't think it planes, does it? It's not really got. You've never seen a Sea King up on the step. So, but for ingenuity, we'll go for that. Darren Lewington says, "Johnny, does yours smell of fish?" There was a couple of bits. Someone at the very early start of the show, someone said Spruce Goose, no wheels on it, sadly, and then they went Martin Mars, no wheels on that either. Beaching gear, but not actually retractable gear. So there's.
How about this one?
Yeah, Aventura or CB, both good choices. Yes. Trend 772 says the Shinmeiwa US2, which is, and the Japanese are really good at big seaplanes. So if you want a big modern four turbine seaplane, talk to the Japanese. What else have we got?
Catalina.
Catalina. We've had, I saw Catalina. Mel Moxon said it has a radial. Ed wins. Claire B says Ed wins. Marcus Clark said Ed wins. That is beautiful. Jeff says Ed wins. That's beautiful.
Hang on a second.
Williams, imagine getting watermarks on that. If I owned that Kia and I took it in the water, you'd be sweating, wouldn't you?
Just one question.
Dave's comment. There's a comment here from Dave D. So that Ed's choice has gone wrinkly in the water, which I think.
No, it's just it's a natural thing with it is you would have to live with the fact that it is slightly crinkly.
Yeah.
So Ed wins for polishing alone. There we go. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of comments. Someone says, "Well done, Johnny," but doesn't suggest that you won. Ed wins. Ed wins. Ed wins. Pete Pangeli, Short Mercury would have been a good choice, Pete, but sadly, I thought the Mercury has floats and no retractable and no wheels. So nice seaplane, but not. So Ginger Jeff says Ed wins. Trent 772 suggests Albatross. Edwin, it might be a return to form here.
I think Sky Crow has got you mixed up with a politician in Australia, because he's like voting for you like mad.
Yes. Keir Williams says CB for me because James Bond. That is true. That's a cool moment, isn't it? So
I think you've won it.
It does look like, for once, yes. I might choose Ian for a change. That could be when you're a politician. Maybe if you run for Chancellor or PM, it could be like choose Ian for a change.
I'm not going to be a politician. That's not good. I'm too old for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Right. Oh no! You can't go for Beaver. No.
Beaver on retractable gear floats is not a seaplane hull, isn't it?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Ed's run away with this one, and he has. Right. I think we better move on because time's running away. With 3 minutes over. Dave, you got any quick events for people to go to?
Just a couple. There's a Gasco Safety Evening on tomorrow, Friday, at Henstridge. Next Monday, the 14th, there's the Light Aircraft Design Conference at the Royal Aeronautical Society HQ in London. That's about it, really, at the moment.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Catherine, for joining us. Thank you, Sarah, for that great interview. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday afternoon on Livestream Extra, next Thursday on Livestream, and fingers crossed, the good internet will actually. I'll be somewhere else next week, so somebody else's internet. So that should be good as well. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a good one and
Fly safe and enjoy that weekend.
Have a great flying weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
You remembered your bit.
No, that was